get ready to thrive loud with Lou Diamond.
Hey, Thrive Loud listeners, welcome to Thrive Loud and welcome to FinTech Week. This entire week, we are featuring amazing thriving individuals that are thriving each and every day that are specifically focused in the financial technology space. FinTech has become one of the hottest and most talked about spaces that we come across in the business environment. And this is because the way that we pay for things, the way we fund things, the way we access financial information is constantly changing. And there are amazing innovators and innovative companies that are leading the way. This week, we will be featuring those incredible companies and individuals who are helping to do that. Whether they're educating the world, whether they're providing a new service, new access to information, or pretty much giving us an update as to what's going on in the fintech space, we have them here at Thrive Loud. We're going to kick off Thrive Loud, though, with a mini-sode, a recent guest that was on Thrive Loud not too long ago, and that is the CEO and founder of BondCliQ, Chris White. Chris is an unbelievable individual, very motivated, and truly passionate about connecting the world to more access to financial technology and financial information, specifically in the corporate bond market. And his company, BondCliQ, is leading the way on that front. So sit back, relax, and listen to Chris White as we kick off FinTech Week here on Thrive Loud. What is the problem that the market faces that kind of lit the light bulb in your head that helped to start what BondCliQ is?
Well, when we talk about fixed income, just for anyone who's listening who's not really clear on what that is, what we're talking about is really the bond market, whether it be government bonds or corporate bonds or municipal bonds. And those markets are much, much bigger collectively than the equity market that we all know and love and see every day on CNBC. I would also argue that the bond markets are the most important financial markets in the world. They control which nations thrive, which nations are struggling. They fund wars. Like, there's a big history around it. So It's an important part of the market. In terms of me getting to this idea, I really very early on was lucky enough to, in a very cliched way, find my passion. And what my passion was in Wall Street was to make Wall Street better for the end investor. That really drives me. And so what that has done for me is it's helped me dedicate my time and my focus to learning about markets. I now even teach market structure. I actually was teaching at Fordham last night. And I feel that it's my reason to be here. So this idea comes from me working and tinkering and building product particularly in the corporate bond market for about 15 years. And like most ideas, it's very simple. And what it effectively is we're building a piece of architecture to organize all of the pricing data that is in the corporate bond market. And you might be surprised by this, like the pricing data isn't organized, but you're very much confronted with it when you look on Yahoo Finance. You can go on it right now and look up Microsoft on Yahoo Finance, and you will see ample information on Yahoo Finance regarding Microsoft's equity. Well, Microsoft has also issued $80 billion worth of bonds. You have no information on Yahoo Finance around how those bonds are performing, where they're priced. If you wanted to buy one, where could you buy it? That just doesn't exist. If you're watching CNBC and they're talking about Apple, they're showing you minute by minute adjustments in the price of Apple equity. Apple has $120 billion worth of outstanding debt. No information available. Well, without having information available, markets can get kind of dangerous because people aren't able to manage risks. And that's what we've started seeing in the corporate bond market. The lack of risk management is now impacting the ability for people to do trades. And so if you Google search bond market liquidity, you'll get probably 30 or 40 pages of search results I believe the architecture that we're creating with BondCliQ is going to materially improve bond market liquidity simply by organizing the pricing data.
So I love this, Chris, and it is a great idea in the spirit of the ever evolving world to try to make things more transparent. This is a way to start to see into an area which has been overlooked from a transparency for a long time, which now is the question I want to ask. So do you think it was always intentional to not provide a lot of information about this so that the larger investment firms that manage these markets can kind of be the keepers of this, the gatekeepers of this information?
Well, first of all, you're using the T word, which I try not to use it because there are so many negative connotations with transparency in financial markets. It's as if there's actually a belief that transparency will kill a market. But to answer your question, markets are cultural systems. Behaviors that you're looking at in a market today, they come from somewhere. There's a historical reason why they've been institutionalized into the idea that this is the way the market works. So if you put in your tape of Bonfires of the Vanities, or which is a movie kind of talking about the bond market, you can see that at a point in time, it was actually a very good thing to be a market maker or a proprietary trader in the bond market because you could make a good living off of mispricing. There was a time in the equity world too where it was fantastic that there wasn't a lot of pricing information out there because you could also make a lot of money. But as these markets get bigger and as they become more important, the culture of hiding information starts to have a negative impact on the market itself. And the negative impact that it has is the market starts losing the ability to actually transact. And so when I came up with the idea for BondCliQ, the thing that made it, really pushed me and said, like, Chris, you got to do this, is when I looked in the history, I had actually invented something that was the most unoriginal idea in the history of financial markets. This idea of centralizing data to improve liquidity. This happened way back in 1971. This was actually the solution that was put in place in the U.S. equity market. We know this solution as being something very different today, but in 1971, the dealers got together and they centralized their pricing information through something called NASDAQ, National Association of Securities Dealers Automated Quotation System. All NASDAQ was doing in the beginning was moving the pricing information from a daily magazine called the Pink Sheets into a digital bulletin board, which at the time was like an incredible change to the markets, but it ended up being the foundation and the catalyst for the modernization of the U.S. equity market today.
You've been listening to Thrive Loud with your host, Lou Diamond. Make sure to subscribe on iTunes, Overcast, or wherever you get your podcasts. And follow us on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram at Thrive Loud. Or find us on the web at thriveloud.com.